So I asked my mom if I could tell the story, which she might still be mad at me, but she's like, yes, whatever. So I wrote a joke that my mom dropped me, because it was my comedy career, whatever, which is very true. When I was a year old, it was on Christmas, she's got a box in one hand and me in the other, and she's walking down the stairs, which is like, maybe that's why I don't like stairs nowadays, but so she got me and she slipped and she dropped me and broke my leg, and
that's why you can't walk.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Connected Fools podcast. I'm your host, Cauy Sprankle, and alongside me, my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, Kaleb Snider.
What's up? I'm glad to be back.
Everybody, give Kaleb a standing ovation, if you're able to, obviously. Some people are not able to give standing ovations. So, it was fun. I was going through editing this week, and I was like, man, I feel like I got a motivational speech in me. So, like, when you're doing this stuff, obviously, me and Kaleb are not experts in really anything. I don't think. I mean, Kaleb, you might say you're a master at something. I don't even know, but I'll go ahead and say it. Probably not. But, like, when you're doing something, you never know what it's going to be like. I hear people like, I don't know where to start. I don't know. There's always some, like, little step that you can take to get into anything, really. And I think, like, I was editing and working on YouTube, learning, like, you don't know until you're actually doing it. So, like, when I was uploading, I'm like, I don't even know what half of this stuff means or whatever it is. So, like, I think if you're wanting to get into something, anything really, like, even like you're a coach, right? You can't start out at Duke or, whatever. Right. So you gotta start out with, like, I know in college they were like, never say no to, like, whatever, like, you never know what this little job or little event or career could lead into. So I think if you're wanting to do something, could be career, like, be obsessed with it, I started comedy coaching, like, I got a comedy coach, and he was saying, like, just be obsessed with the grind and the process. And I think that's, if you're going to do anything, do it with everything you got, and then you become obsessed with it where you're like, you find out how good at whatever you're wanting to be in. So, all right, yeah, that was my motivational speech. So,
I think, honestly, you talked about starting from the bottom. People don't know where to start. I think it's just you got to do stuff that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Because if you go into it thinking, oh, I just want to make money, sometimes those two things won't align.
Right.
If you think about, like, Eric Spoelstra, like the Miami Heat coach, he started in the film room.
So basically a manager, I would say, like, if you're on a high school basketball team, that'd be like the manager, probably.
Yeah, and he put his time in, and he did all the work and worked hard, and then I don't know how long he did that. Probably, I'm guessing that took 10, 15 years.
But yeah, if you're wanting to get into anything, you're not going to be at the top. You're not going to be the CEO unless you start your own. Which, if you start your own thing, then you're really at the bottom. You're 1 through 5 of every.
Yeah.
Like, me and you were just like we're. And I think that when growing up, I didn't realize that you could just start your own business. Like we talked about like Nike and Chick-fil-A. Like, they didn't start out. Now they're billion-dollar businesses, but they didn't start out with like, oh, we're already a Fortune 500 team.
Right.
They're out of, like you said, Nike's out of the back of a car. Chick-fil-A was in, some food courts, and, like, I don't know how big the mall was, but probably not very big. I mean, They started out before that in, like, a grill area. So it's just like you're not gonna start out on top. So I think that's motivation for us as well, but also just like people, are from a small town. Yours is a little bit bigger town, but it's not like we're in New York City living the high life or whatever. You're gonna have to start somewhere, and I think it's very cool that you have the ability, especially in today's age with social media and or democracy. So that's why, hey, we're the people, boy. You know what I'm saying? So
I think you can start anywhere. That's the nice part of obviously the technology that we have. You can literally start anywhere, and does everybody make it? No, but
Yeah.
I mean, I think you probably have more of a chance than you did, probably 30, 40 years ago.
Right. All right. So that was our motivational speech. I thought of that yesterday when I was editing and stuff, and I was like, man, you can watch a YouTube video or go to school for this, but you're not going to know everything until you're in the thick of things. So I think I'm a hands-on learner as well. Like I can't listen to somebody and be like, got it. I'm like, you gotta kind of learn and fail and stuff like that on your own. So.
Absolutely.
So, all right. So enough of that. But NBA happened it's conference finals. Did you see the Cavs blow a 22-point lead in the fourth quarter?
I was watching that this morning.
Yeah, that was Jalen Brunson matched up with Harden, and I think had like 11 points by himself straight. And I was like, wow, the Cavs blew it. And then you think, all right, you're going down overtime. Maybe the home team runs out of steam, so they rally back, and then kept on going. I can't remember what the final score was, but they won. They were up by like 9 or something in overtime. You're like, you were just down 22 points, and now you're up 9 in overtime. That's a swing.
I think the NBA would probably prefer to have the Knicks. Obviously, it's a bigger city.
Yeah, it's probably.
I mean, I think they have probably a little bit more of a fan base.
Yeah. Do you think the NBA is scripted?
I think so.
Is that what you're saying?
I don't know, but I wouldn't say it's scripted, but I do think they want that.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know if they are scripted. I mean, here's the thing. I've watched that documentary about the referee that was, betting and,
Really? There was a referee that bet?
And got put in jail.
Really?
Yeah, Tim Donahue or something like that.
Oh, okay. I think that name sounds familiar.
Yeah. Yeah. He would, and was he cheating? But he's like, they said like Allen Iverson always carried the ball, but nobody called it. So,
yeah.
Like the game before his crew had him.
Yeah.
He like did something like hit a referee and the NBA didn't suspend him. He only like fined him. So these 3 referees said, fine, we're going to show you up. And they called him every time.
Every carry, yeah.
And so, I mean, also as a person that, like I umpire softball, people don't understand officials, umpires, they have a lot.
Yeah.
I think NFL might have the most just because of like technology. Like you could throw a flag on every play.
Yeah.
You can't overturn it.
Right.
Baseball, I used to say like a home plate umpire could make so much of a difference, but now because of this year going to that IBS or ABS system,
right.
You can challenge if it's like, oh, that was clearly a ball or strike. You can now challenge.
But you probably don't want to have like AI take that over. Of like the baseball, I think is using the AI like calls, right?
Right, that's what that is. ABS.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, they get 2 challenges.
I think that's part of the sports days, like the personal, like people are reffing. There's gonna be mess up, human error. I think they call it. Like I think that makes sports kind of cool. I mean, I don't know if you think that.
I mean, I see both sides. So like obviously, umpiring is something that I do during the summer for travel softball. Please don't take my job, right? You don't want a robot to take my job. But at the same time, as a coach, like
you want the correct call.
You want the right thing. But the other way I look at it is human error is, like you said, part of the game. Human error goes against you, but it's also going to go for you too.
For you, yeah.
Like in baseball or softball, I don't want to have the same strike zone every game. I mean, I know by the book it's this by this,
you,
but this umpire, hey, they call it a little bit more outside, or hey, they call it higher or lower.
Right.
And some people that really frustrates them, but I look at it as our job as a coach or a pitcher. You got to learn their zone,
right?
And it shouldn't be. I mean, yes, by rule it should be this, but I think that's also some games.
That's probably like perfecting your game is like being able to adjust to different teams and play styles. Yeah.
I mean, I think the same thing with the if you're officiating basketball, it's some people might call that a foul, some people might, and I think does that suck when that goes against you? 100%, but you're also going to be rewarded, and then the team that just you beat probably feels the same way, so I think it's just it's a full circle moment.
I would say maybe we'll do an episode on like maybe missed calls or something. I think that'd be kind of a fun thing to do. But yeah, I don't know. There are times where I think the ref let that one go, or like you see it like the ref doesn't call anything the whole game, and then it becomes crunch time, and then I almost feel like, which is rightfully say, the pressure's on them to make the right call. And like I think I've seen like 2 years ago, whenever the Eagles and Chiefs were playing each other in the pass interference, and you're like, they didn't call pass interference all game, and then when it came down to a tight play, they kind of call it, which is fair. You kind of, but you don't want a ref, I don't think, stepping in.
So, what they tell us in my umpiring class, or like in the thing that I do, like if you didn't call it in the first inning, don't magically start calling it in the late innings. And I think that's so true. Like if they're breaking a rule, if they're doing something that requires you to call it. But don't be like, well, I let it go for 4 innings, and now because it's close game or whatever, I'm going to punish this team. But obviously that's at a high school or youth level. I mean, I get why people want the automatic stuff in like Major League. Like, you're the best. Like, you should be the best umpires in the world.
Right.
So I get it if that's frustrating. So.
And like, if I think basketball, there's a lot of ticky-tack foul, like, or if some guy like Chargers, I think, or what he slide and what he establish. It's like, I'm sure with, obviously you don't have, when you're like strike zone, you're not with the square like everybody else has on this TV screen, so you're not like, oh, what's that, or whatever. So it's kind of like just your depth perception and stuff like that. But also, like, if you're, some bumps in basketball are like harder, maybe you let it go, and then some it's like, well, dude, you try to chop them in the arms, or something like that. So fouls can be also a
sure. That's everywhere, man. It's, as a coach, I'm coaching in basketball, coaching in softball. Like, we have lost games because you're like, oh, I think that official or whatever missed that call, but we've also won games because of the same thing. So I think it's just, you got to learn, and as a coach, obviously being an umpire, I'm not hard on umpire. Like, I get it. Like, I will tell our kids, hey, we got to adjust. Yeah. I'm not going to, well, that's a strike. No, that umpire has called that a ball the whole game, and I think sometimes that's what, I get it, parents, other coaches, like, you pour your heart and soul, or you're a fan and you want you want that so bad for your kid or your players. I get it, but at the same time, like, I'm never hard on umpires just because like I am one. Like, I don't want people yelling at me.
Yeah, not true.
Because they do, right? I've gotten yelled at a lot, but it's, hey, do you want to go get yelled at? I always think when people are yelling, do you want me to show up to your place of business and start yelling at you? Probably not. Like, oh my gosh, like, why is this, graph not done?
Yeah, why is CVS a mess?
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's funny that we had a flag football game, and they, I can't play, so they're like, you want a ref? I'm like, oh boy. So, and I realized, like, if the play didn't go for you, they're mad. If it did, they could care less. And then it flips, you're like, man, you just had the same thing happen to you or whatever.
Yep.
So I'm kind of into the physicality where I let, I'm not going to call everything. Because one, you're making yourself, like, held accountable for that ticky-tack foul, now you got to call it here. But also, like, I want to see an athlete be an athlete and kind of use some strength and agility to kind of push through, playing or whatever like that. So I think it's fun to be a ref a little, but I mean, I think they hold a lot of power in the game.
You really do.
Like, I remember, like, you can't play against the refs, and like, well, you shouldn't let the refs, like, be put in the hands of the refs. And like, well, I mean, if your best player gets in foul trouble, that's putting the hands in your team in the hands of the refs. So.
Very true.
But good games on. If you guys don't like NBA, it's heating up. The Thunder, Spurs. That's awesome. That series is. I feel like a genuine rivalry, and it's just one season in. Feel like they're rivals already.
I feel like I think I saw a stat where Game 1 got more views than the Super Bowl.
It probably did. Yeah, I think they played 6 times. I think this season with in-season cup and all that. and Spurs won 5.
Yeah.
And something that, all you Thunder fans out there, you gotta like, look at us. And then the camera goes into the huddle, and Alex Caruso shoved the camera out, and I was like, oh, I thought y'all were tough or whatever. And it's just like, obviously, the emotions riding high or whatever, but it's like, if you're wanting to be, look at me, you're going to have to take some licks yourself or whatever. So, and the team will have your number. I mean, that's the cool thing about sports, and specifically basketball. There's a move to opposite everything. You know what I mean? Like, I think obviously a 7'6" dude, it's kind of hard to guard that. But other than that, you can run zone and you can do man and shoot everything.
I just think that they're so even.
Yeah.
So like like the Thunder has Chet, Spurs have Victor.
Right.
Like they both have good guards. They have
defense, scrappy, handsy. Yeah.
Right. I think it's almost like looking in a mirror, and I think you look at what Wemby did. Like you hit a deep 3 to tie
30 footer, to tie it. It's like,
and he's what 7'5", 7'6". Players aren't supposed to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So
I've heard like people say generational talent. I mean, realistically,
I don't think there's been.
There might be like 3. I've seen somebody say Shaq, LeBron, Wemby, which there's a lot of good talent. I'm not saying there's not, but like generally you see a 7'6" dude hitting threes. Like he's literally, if you go to FanDuel, he's like the second most odd to hit a 3. You're like, I don't think a 7'6" dude should be able to shoot 3, but
right.
he does. He handles the ball really good. But also something I like about Wemby is his competitiveness. Sometimes I think Kirby's talked about where people get to the league, they're all that, and then the money hits, and then they lose their ambition of playing. And so like now, watching him, he wants to win every game. You can tell, which is very cool that talent matched up with heart.
The thing that I really like about both those teams, the Spurs and the Thunder, is they've built it basically through the draft.
Yeah.
Right? They're not going out and signing
superstars.
Well, they have really good players.
Right, yes.
But like you've done it because you've rebuilt.
Yeah.
And I think watching that in sports is actually one of my favorite things, because you went through the pain.
Bad years. Last year they were not very good. I don't think they weren't in the play-in. I don't even think. So
the Spurs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? They got the second overall pick.
Right.
And I know that's a lottery system, but that tells me you weren't in the playoffs.
You weren't. And then just flip around, drafting really well and getting good talent, and the staff has to match up with coaching. Coaching has to match up with play style, players.
Absolutely.
So it all comes together. So it's very cool. So yeah, guys, check out the NBA playoffs. I don't know a lot about hockey, but I think they're the Stanley Cup, like the playoffs.
Yeah, that's going on.
Conference finals.
No idea.
I don't know.
I don't watch enough hockey.
Yeah,
I like the Blue Jackets, but
I would say Blue Jackets. They were on a run, I thought, and then next I don't think they even made the playoffs, did they?
They did not.
So
yeah.
We'll be back. Columbus is on the rise. We had a good coach. Rather than a good coach, I think retired one and hired another one, and then we went on our run, so we'll be back probably.
I agree.
Hopefully,
he seems like the right guy.
And then the Reds, they fell off.
Must be an Ohio thing.
They were on top. I remember sitting like, man, the Reds, this might be their year. But they do have some good players. Sal Stewart, is he?
Yeah.
I feel like he's always hitting. Like
him and Ellie.
Him and Ellie. But so and then all of a sudden you look up.
They're like
years later, and they're on the bottom of their division.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think their division's really tough, but also
it's a very competitive. Looking at the
I mean, even when the Reds were in first place, the whole division was above 500, and,
right?
And obviously you knew that the margins were going to be very thin. I think I saw I know they won last night, so I don't know if this stat has changed, but at one point, maybe they're now 5, but they were 4-17 in May. Like
that's crazy.
Yeah, so
you can't be on the top of your division doing that.
I mean, the nice part about baseball, you play a lot of games. So I mean, obviously, you can go through stretches where we've won 15 out of 18, and then we lost 4. We've lost. We've lost 15 out of the last 18.
Right.
And I mean, that's not stable, but you can always recover, I think, is kind of how I look at things.
Yeah.
Is it's a long season.
It's a long season. What, 162 games?
162 games.
That's, I think the NBA is a lot with 82. Like they've talked about shortening it. But I mean, I think baseball is not as grueling. I mean, there is some dugout time and stuff like that. Yeah, other than being at bat or maybe an outfielder running. So it's a little bit, but injuries do take place and stuff like that. I mean, I always think like, man, stepping on a bag, I feel like would. I mean, if you're full deal and you step on if you're trying to beat the first baseman or whatever, I feel like that would hurt your ankles or stuff like that. Or
trust me,
swinging for the fences, pull your back out, stuff like that. So
trust me, I've seen coaching just high school softball. If you're meant to be hurt, you'll get hurt. Like we had a girl, she blew out her knee and she was just running on turf. Yeah. Like no game, no contact. It was just knee gave out.
Right.
And,
so 162 games is a long, long season. So, all right, that's nice for our sports talk. That's so, Caleb, what do we have planned for today?
We're actually going to talk a little bit more about like our childhood and how we were like kind of raised and kind of how things are a little bit maybe different a little bit now.
Right.
Nowadays.
Yeah. We mentioned last week how kids are growing up probably different,
Yeah.
I feel like an old head saying that. We're not that old. We're literally almost kids still. I mean, you're 26, I'm 23, so we've been around a minute, but we're not like
back in my days,
I've been saying that, and I go, man, I love that. That's awesome. That's the best part about getting old. You get to say the sayings that older people say, like,
very true.
Man, back in my day, they don't make them like they used to. I always think that. I wonder if I was as cool as I feel like I was. And so, probably not, but I feel like I was like, man, I was the man back in the day, and you're probably like, dude, you weren't even close, probably, but.
It's so weird, like, I saw this video where when you're a kid and you pass like a high schooler, you're like, wow, that person has a beard and looks like a grown man. Right. And then when you get there and you look at yourself or your classmates, you're like, we don't.
Yeah, when they would come in, like our school would do like before they graduate, they go to their old school.
Yeah.
And I remember like seeing the high school and you're like, what? They're giants, whatever. And then you get there and you're like, this is not cool at all.
Not cool at all.
And then like even to the extent I went to High State, I dreamed about being a kid, seeing football players, and these are the stars. And then you get there and you're like, they're still stars, obviously, but you're like, I'm with them. So it's not near as cool. It almost dumbs it down a little bit for you.
It's so weird to sit there and either meet or be around those people, because like I can just tell you, like when I coached softball at Watkins, I mean we had 4 girls on 1 year. They're at Division I schools,
right?
Like now, and I think when people are like hyping that, you just read articles,
right?
Or whatever. I think some people would look at these people like, wow, they're so like you have some thought, But then like you're me and you're around these people and they're like, no, they're super not like like some people are like, oh, we don't like these people at other schools. They're like, no, they're like the nicest.
They're down to earth.
Yeah, they're down to earth.
They're just like us.
Yeah, they're just like us.
That's what I was telling my dad the other day about like the High State guys. Like they're tough on the field and
right.
The biggest thing on Saturday, but you're with them. You're like, these guys are cool. They go fishing. They hang out with their buddies. They go to Top Dog. Like they're not like I'm above all these people. I'm on yachts or something. It's like they're everybody.
I remember there was a guy that was a couple years younger than me at my old church, and he went to Pick North.
Right.
And I think Jack Sawyer was like a year younger. Like he was roughly the same age. Mm-hmm. And in my head, I'm like, dude, Jack Sawyer's like the number 2 recruit in the nation. I'm like, how does he walk around school? Like, are you big and bad? Right. Or are you just this and that? And my buddy goes, no, he's like just another guy.
I would say he was in one of my classes my senior year, and he's super down to earth. Like, he would get to class a little bit early, and I'd be obviously waiting on the same class, and he would come up, and my service dog, he'd be like, what up to my service dog? And we talked, and he's like, just obviously huge recruit and
right.
in the NFL, and we'll probably have a great career there, and the Steelers, but he was just like, you talk to him, and he'd be like, how's your family? I'm like, dude, how's yours? And just kind of talk back and forth, so it was really, like, these guys aren't all that, but I mean they are, but they're they don't think of themselves
Right.
out loud, or whatever. They don't do the swagger walk around or whatever. So, but so I asked my mom if I could tell the story, which she might still be mad at me, but she's like, yes, whatever. So I wrote a joke that my mom dropped me, because it was my comedy career or whatever, which is very true. When I was a year old, it was on Christmas, she's got a box in one hand and me in the other, and she's walking down the stairs, which is like, well, maybe that's why I don't like stairs nowadays, but so she got me and she slipped and she dropped me and broke my leg. And
that's why you can't walk.
That's the joke. That's the reason, which is not, but it's very funny to think like.
That's true.
My mom dropped me, broke my leg, put me in a wheelchair for life. But with Mom, you're great. Don't worry about that. I was just like, what a story. And it was cool because they were like, you kind of tried, but not really. And I was like, I knew I was tough. I was 1 year old. I've been like this. So, but and then I had to have I had 2 casts. I only broke one leg, but it's almost like, when you break your finger, like tape them together.
Yeah, you gotta tape them together.
Yeah, it was kind of like that, where I had to have both legs cast, and it looked like I'm wearing pants, but it's a cast.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how I started out first year of my life. Shout out Mom for that.
So, talking about like being young, like, do you have any either like memory that like sticks out? Like, man, I was 5 or I was 6. Do you have anything that really sticks out?
I mean, I always wonder. I think I have a terrible memory, if I'm being honest. But I do remember like our parents built their house, and so I remember living with my grandparents. I lived with both my grandma and grandpa, my dad's side, and my grandma on my mom's side. And I remember going to like our home that we were building, like playing in the dirt, which I don't think kids really probably do, which I don't think I would chose that life if I could have chose, but I remember being there. And then like TVs, I mean, when you're like 5, that's been some time ago, like TVs weren't all that now, so it's just like this little huge square box and play like PlayStation 2, and stuff like that while they were working above us or whatever. So I remember that, but I spent a lot of time in the hospital, so like that stuff, like probably being terrified like every 5 minutes, like I was kind of a limp in the hospital, but what are they about to do, because every time I see a nurse come in, I was just like,
is this it?
Yeah, like
is this it?
Yeah, it's just like some procedure I thought was terrifying, and then
Sure.
But it's fun. I think that's why I got my personality. Is like I was really into westerns and cowboys and stuff, so I'd have like a fake 6-shooter under my blanket in the hospital, and I'd pull it out, and I shot everybody. So they may have been bringing in my food, and I was like,
bang!
Yeah. So I was like, I don't know, I didn't like anybody, and then I don't know where that really switched from. Like, let me just jerk around with everybody, you know what I mean? So
you take life a little less serious.
Yeah, I think that now the doctors that used to give me terrible news come in, and I give them just so much crap about them and stuff like that, and so that's really cool. But I've came a long way.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it's like, doctors like told my parents like he probably won't make it past 2 years old. When I was diagnosed at 9 months with spinal muscular atrophy, so it's like 23 years old now, and still some struggles, but it's like way better. I've been in the hospital in a couple of years, and I think it was my freshman year of college, and I had COVID, so it's like I don't even know, that really didn't have to do with anything really, so it's like come a long way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's really cool. How about you? What do you have like a memory of?
Like how much time we got, man.
Yeah.
Like, growing up, to this day I still have a really close my family's still super close.
Right, me too, yeah.
But I think growing up, things that just stick out is like we went on vacation like every summer, and we went to different ballparks. Different major league, so like that stands out. Obviously, like the first one that I truly remember was we went to the Angels out in LA. That was like 2006.
So you went all the way out there.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
First time I flew on a plane. Really, the trip, I think as a kid, I wasn't really quite into baseball yet.
Yeah.
And so I was really big into Legos. Still am.
Right.
And so like that trip, we also went to Disneyland and
Right.
Legoland. So really,
That's pretty
as
cool.
a 6-year-old, that's what I was
You
looking.
weren't too worried about the baseball game so much.
No, to be honest with you, I barely remember it.
Yeah.
You know, but like it was still fun. It was like a really great trip, and it was actually really funny. Here's my funny, terrible story.
Oh boy.
So we're at Disneyland, and there's like this big ride, and I really wanted to ride it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have an older sister, so like we were ready to get on it, like all 4 of us. And for being 6, I won't say I was like short, but you have to go be a certain height.
Right.
And I was tall enough with my hair, and the guy literally pats my hair down and goes, "You're not tall enough." And I'm like, "What?" And I threw the biggest tantrum.
Really?
So then they rotated. So I think my dad stayed with me first, and my mom like waited in line with my sister to get on the ride. And I'm just like in the middle of the park, just
Throwing a fit.
Like it looks like he's trying to kidnap me. Like if you're like
Right,
an outsider,
yeah.
and, like no, like I was really upset. And then like they rotated, so then my dad's like, "Here, you have them." And I don't know what my mom said. She probably threatened me a little bit, but I stopped like almost
Yeah.
right away. And like that's one of the stories I remember from that trip. But
You just being hard to handle.
trust me, that's not the first time they said, "We almost didn't take you on another vacation." So like obviously,
That's hilarious.
but
That's just being a kid though. Getting in trouble. I think I was telling my dad, it's like, I want my kid to give me heck. You know what I mean? It's just like,
Right.
if not, it's like, obviously you want your kid to be well behaved and respectable and stuff like that, but it's like, that's, looking back, your parents are probably like, that's a memory.
Well,
Not so much of a bad thing.
I look at it as it makes you the person you are today. Like
Right.
if you're just going to give your kid, never tell them no.
Right, yeah.
Like you should have rules. Like you should say, "Hey, like no phone after whatever."
Right.
Or like I
So
didn't.
then eventually when they don't get it later in life or whatever, that's going to melt them down. And
Right.
Like, what?
Like if you're just given, if you're just everything's handed to you, you're going to have no work ethic. You're going to like when the real world hits and
Right.
tells you no, you're not going to know how to handle it. So
Right.
I think like how I was raised, at the time as a kid, it might have sucked a little bit,
Yeah.
but I think as now I'm at
Yeah, you hate them, they hate you, it looks like.
no, I never hated my. I love my parents.
No, I'm saying like you're just like so mad, like why didn't I?
Yeah, why do we like? Sometimes you're just like, oh, why do we have this? Like, I couldn't play video games
Yeah.
unless it was like like the weekend basically, and so that's another memory. Oh my gosh! So like, I didn't wake up. I woke up at 7 something during the week to go to like elementary school. I woke up at like 5:30 or 6 o'clock on the weekends just because I really wanted to play video games.
Right, yeah. My
And-
youngest brother the same way. He gets up early and it's just like he's lit in his room and he's grinding. And it's like
Yeah, it's
motivation.
Well, it was just that's just for the most part. I'm a pretty good rule follower, so like I
Right.
was trying to do that to the best of my listen to my parents.
But
and-
capitalize on your day of
Yeah,
as much as
I knew if hey we're gonna leave at 10 o'clock or whatever. Like I still wanted to get stuff in and
Right.
stuff like that. But no, it's growing up, those vacations. I've been to 46 states.
That's pretty crazy.
And I can be honest, I haven't added much to that list probably since I started college.
Right.
So really, I had a lot of those states down before.
So it'd be probably what, Hawaii, Alaska.
It's very odd. So it's actually so it's Alaska, Hawaii, Oklahoma, and Arkansas.
Really? I feel like Oklahoma was the softball scene.
So
I've been there.
Ironically, my parents are going to that next
Really?
week. Yeah, they're going to the College World Series.
Are you gonna try and sneak in?
No, I didn't
Really?
I didn't get invited.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, a little sad.
That's what.
But
I can't wait for them to send you pictures of them there and just like
trust
in
me,
your face.
they went to Alaska last August.
Really?
And I'm like for 2 weeks, and I'm like,
Wow.
wow, you guys.
That would be fun, yeah.
Yeah, they loved it. Alaska's really cool, but I'm trying to think what other memories. So on top, so we went to baseball stadiums, been to all those, been to all 30.
Right.
I think probably my favorite memory from that is I think 2011 in that range. We went to 6 on one vacation.
Really?
Yeah, we hit up.
That does help when you go to a farther state so that you can cut.
Well, it was like the whole we did the whole eastern coast. So we did both New York, Boston, Baltimore, DC, and Philly, and
That's cool.
and Baltimore. And what was really neat about that trip, so out of the 6 games, you had 3 AL teams and 3 NL teams.
Okay.
All 3 NL teams won on walk-offs,
Really?
and all 3 AL teams basically got killed. It was
A little mixture of both. That's cool.
and so as a kid, I thought that was so cool. And they always say there's 2 types of vacation people. You have the people that hi, we're going to the beach and we're chilling in one spot for a week, and you're just in one town. For us, it was we're on the move.
I would say my family the same way. You think that you see people who go on the beach and just lounge for 2 straight days, and my family is just we might go to one town or city, but it's we're gonna go see as many things in that city as you can. Yeah.
I mean, there's countless vacations where we would fly to our last trip. We went the 4 of us before my sister kind of got married and stuff and went on to be her own her own family. We went out west a 3rd time, so we wrapped up our baseball. So we flew into Arizona. Went to the Grand Canyon.
Nice.
But the D-backs weren't in town yet. So then we drove from Arizona and we went up to San Diego, saw the Padres, and then we kept going and we actually saw the Dodgers, and then we drove all the way back. I mean, that's not a short drive.
No.
And so that was a lot of our vacations. There was a lot of car time. And it was interesting to kind of see how...
Are you into road trips?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
So as a kid, I loved it. As a kid, we had a portable DVD player, so sometimes we watched a movie. I had a DS, so there was some electronics where I wasn't I was on my. I didn't have a phone.
Right.
But there was stuff that we did. Where now, when we've a couple summers ago, we drove all the way down to Alabama. So
that's a trip.
That was a trip.
Yeah.
Or for softball, for school ball, on a bus, a nice like a travel bus, not a school bus.
Right.
I mean, we went to Florida, so that was a 10-hour drive.
Yeah, those are rough.
I now only have a phone, and so that was a little bit different. So road trip.
But there's only so much you can do on your phone, so it's
That's true.
You're oh my goodness, let's get out. Let's
I
think it's good to I'm going to Orlando in late June. It's we're planning on making some stops all the way down that way. Not because Orlando's it's 12, 13, whatever hour drive. So it's that's a long haul if you just do it straight. Because I've done it for a funeral, and it's you feel you're just out of body experience.
Oh, trust me. So the year that I coached and went to Florida with our team, so that you have 50 people on this bus. I mean, we had 35, 40 high school girls, and then our coaching staff, which was maybe 4 of us. My mom went to be a female chaperone, and then we had 2 more moms.
Right.
So we have unalmost 50 people on this bus. So the bathroom is in the middle of the bus. Never saw that. It was really weird. And so everybody had a rule: don't go number 2 unless it's it's emergency. Yeah, our players did not listen to that. That. So on the way to Florida, we left in the middle of we left at 11 p.m. We leave the school. You start going. Almost everybody falls asleep.
Right.
No problem. We get to Florida midday or whatever. We made 2 stops.
Yeah.
No problem.
Not bad.
When we came back, the bathroom was full because they filled it all. So now it smells.
Yeah.
And we left at 8 a.m. So you just woke up. Nobody's really tired. And probably what took us 10, 12 hours going to Florida.
Yeah.
Took us 19 hours because we had to make way more stops.
And I do think you don't want to stop. That is taking up your time of being down there.
Right.
On the way back, take your time. But if and you're excited for the trip, so it doesn't feel near as long. You're excited, you're motivated, you're daydreaming about it. Then on the way back, the fun's over.
Very true.
It's rough.
I will be honest, traveling, I've traveled quite a bit with family. Traveled by myself for the first time this year, actually. That was in January or February.
February, yeah.
And it was both. Like,
Yeah.
I was almost now. Obviously, that was for like a job situation, not like a vacation.
Yeah.
So it was actually the opposite. Like going, I'm nervous. You're nervous. I was nervous because I was traveling by myself for the first time. On the way back, I was kind of like stoked. Like I was like, I had a really good time.
Right.
I didn't want to leave, and like I was on the plane, and I'm just like sitting there like,
dang it.
Like dang, like I would keep
Right.
doing, like keep doing this, and so I think it just depends on your situation.
That's very true. Yeah. So I'm trying to think of. So your best vacation, is it the Angels game, that trip, or
What's
no?
that?
Like the best vacation is that?
Best
like,
vacation I would probably say was the 6 ballparks.
Yeah. Okay.
But no, the earliest memory was probably the Angels.
Yes.
Like here's what's really funny, and this tells you all you need to know is like our vacations were a little bit historic because my dad's a big history guy. So,
Yeah. Very true.
So we did baseball, and we would eat.
Right.
And we're not eating at chains. My mom would look on like the Food Network or like Triple D.
Yeah, find some good.
And so
local
like
stuff.
we ate great food everywhere we went. And actually, sophomore year of high school, I wrote a paper. My first paper, like my first real, like, hey, this had to be, 1,000 words or whatever.
Right.
And I had no idea what to write about. I forget if we had a topic, but like basically it's like, okay, what are you like thankful for?
Right.
Or something like that. I wrote this paper all about our vacations. Like that's what I wrote about. And really, I really focused on the food aspect. Mm-hmm. And in my head, I only did it because I could list. Oh yeah, we've been to Philly, Detroit.
Just bragging about it. Yeah.
Well, no, because it was 1,000 words or whatever.
Fair,
so
yeah.
those are long. Those are long. In my head, I'm like, I listed like half my paper was probably like listing food,
things,
towns.
That's awesome.
And I come back to the teacher, like she like a couple weeks later, everything's graded. She like looks at me and she goes, Caleb, that's one of the best papers I've read in a long time. She's like, you had a few grammar errors, but she goes, it was so good, I just looked over that. And I'm like, and growing up, still to this day, I can't spell worth anything. And so when she said that, I'm like, me?
Yeah.
Like, are you sure? Like,
Didn't believe her, yeah.
And that actually led me to be getting into like a college prep class my junior,
Right.
like that was sophomore year. So I got it. Like, she's like, yeah, I'm going to suggest you take this. And I was in disbelief. But, I also think back to what you said earlier in the show, like when you're passionate about something, it's easy to write,
It is very easy, right? Yeah.
It's easy to work. It's easy. If you're passionate about your job, like coaching, I don't make very much money. I mean, I'm an assistant coach or what, you're this, coaches don't make high school coaches, you're not making a lot
But
of
you
money.
love it, so you kind of bypass it.
Yeah. Like I enjoy what I do. So, yeah. So,
I'm trying to think like the best time of our life, like high school. I think middle school was just a blast. You were mature enough to like kind of do things, but not rely on your parents the most. But also like you didn't have a ton of responsibilities. So I think that was going to school with your buddies. You just like school was easy, so you didn't really have homework. Because in high school I was worried about college and stuff like that. I worried about the wrong things, people. But and so you just hang out with friends, did whatever.
so would you say middle school was like kind of your favorite?
Yeah, I mean, I had a great childhood through and through, but yeah, I wasn't in the hospital near as much.
Sure.
My buddies, we'd go. My buddy, he he raced dirt bikes, so I'd go to his meets and just had a ball, with other friends, and then I started being a manager for our basketball team, and we were very good. So it was just like, being there around ball, and like I said, that's why I fell in love with basketball. And like our coach, he's a varsity head coach, and so it's like he was way above us. He was teaching us like complex things as itchers. You're like, man, you really didn't understand the game of basketball, and just so I think that would be around probably 8th grade. Probably was like, I think I peaked. People are like, I peaked in high school. I'm like, I think I peaked in middle school. How about you? What would you say?
I think there's two different eras. So 6th grade, I don't know how you went to Sheridan. I don't know how they did it, but for us, it's like you went to. They've changed this now since, but we had 3 elementary schools,
Right.
And then everybody came together for middle school.
We had 3 elementaries as well, yeah.
And then so everybody is starting in 6th grade.
Yeah.
They're all
meeting new people. You're like, what?
Yeah,
I didn't know all these people were around me.
Right. I'm like, these are all our school districts. But anyway, so 6th grade, for a long time, was probably my favorite year because you're still a kid, but like you said, you have a little bit more respect. You're still a kid, but you're also has a little bit more freedom.
Right.
And just on a personal level, I was still in the mindset I could talk to anybody. Right. Girls, like teachers, like I was very confident in myself.
Right.
And then like after you start to realize like, oh, girls are kind of cute. Like that, like that's where I started to struggle. So like that hit me hard in 7th grade. So 6th grade was like that last year where you're like, I was really like,
we were doing that, yeah.
I was really good. I was really good, confident in myself. And it took me a couple of years to really get kind of even close to where I was.
Back in it, yeah.
And, but then when you get to high school, you got to start over. So like, our high school was 9 through 12. And so like freshman year is just scary. You're like, like, okay, like I'm 15 or 14. I think I was 15 actually. I was old, but and you're walking in and you're like, oh, those are like 18, they can drive, like they're adults.
They ain't riding a bus.
Yeah, and so when you look at that, freshman year was scary. Sophomore year was okay. Junior year was probably my toughest year.
Probably, yeah.
Just because of the classes I took, and like that's really when you're starting to really like look for colleges. Senior year was probably then out, like 6th grade and senior year were by far my two favorite. Senior year was a blast.
Right.
Just because, all of my friends, we could drive, we hung out.
Right.
It was like we did a lot of fun things and really hung out. And
that's cool. I would say I've mentioned before the show started, I had 2 back surgeries, so it was like, I had mine, it was like summer of 8th grade, so I was doing it in my freshman year, and I come back, I had to miss like 2 months of school and stuff like that. I was like somewhat homeschooled, like a tutor, like they would bring in my homework and stuff like that, and then, so I remember going, my first class in high school was a college prep biology class. So I do from 8th grade, it's like a breeze, to they're talking about like reproductive system, this, like DNA, and I'm just like, what am I doing? Yeah, so going straight from just ease to freshman year, you're just like, so I was like, I want to go to college and I want to do this thing. So I was like, as many tough classes I think that I could fit, I was doing it, and I'm just like, what am I doing? So I think that kind of had a play into like not enjoying life at times. Because I remember basketball, it was from like right after school till 5. I do 5 to do homework till like 8. Then I'd be like, I'm gonna go to bed at like 9. So you eat dinner or whatever. So you're taking up your whole night, repeat. So it's like,
trust me,
God, it's boring.
For me, it's like high school is, I only golfed. I only golfed, but I helped with girls. I mean, I wasn't a coach. Kind of a manager, kind of. But at that time, I didn't really help at practices. Like I just rode the bus to games and kind of did their stats.
Right.
I mean, so that was all winter, and then my dad was still there, but he was a softball coach, and so like I kind of just when you're like, girls are kind of cute, let's go to a softball game.
That's why he coaches guys.
So I would ride with my dad. Because he never rode the bus just because of his job.
Yeah.
And, it's like you go watch these games, and it's like there's so many like why, like I became a coach at technically like basketball I was 20, and then for softball I got hired at 20, and then I was 21 before the season started. But like that's really young.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's like growing up in like the sports that I coach is softball and basketball. I didn't grow up playing. I mean, I played. I played basketball up until middle school, up until through middle school and stuff like that. But I didn't really have a player's mind. I had a coach's mindset because that's who I was around. When I was around my dad or when I was doing the stats for girls, but I'm around the coaches. I wasn't really around the girls because I was scared of girls, So, it's one of those things where it was, I have this coach's mindset, and that really helped me as I obviously became a coach.
Right.
It became a very easier transition. But so I was busy. I golfed in the fall.
Yeah.
I helped with basketball.
In the winter,
then softball. I mean, I didn't really do anything, but I went to the games. So that kept you busy. Like, hey, that was 4 or 5 times.
And on top of grades, I don't know. I think my youngest brother, I feel like he doesn't do any schoolwork now. I don't know if that's ChatGPT or whatever, but it's like, do they even do schoolwork anymore?
I don't know. So that was actually, you talk about you want to talk about something that's a little bit different. I was just thinking this because where I coach at New Albany, every kid has an iPad. Like you have to turn, like our seniors that just are about to ready to graduate, they have to turn it back in. So like I think you probably get it as a freshman and then you turn it back in.
Ours actually is Chromebooks, yeah.
And so I was thinking, I'm like, that's kind of wild. And like when I substitute taught at Watkins, every room had Chromebooks. So like you didn't have at least, I mean, that's been a couple years, so maybe it's changed. But like every room, because we got a new high school, had like a Chromebook like box on their wall. So like every room, almost every room. And then when I slept at Lakewood, every kid got a laptop or Chromebook. And I'm like, that's so wild, because I'm like, I don't feel like I'm that old. And like when I was in school, we had to go to like the computer. Like if our teacher wanted us to write something on a computer, like they had to go sign up for the computer lab. Our whole class went, and you weren't just at your desk. Like,
I think that pivoted right around like probably my junior. I remember having one my senior year, but yeah, it wasn't like we all had laptops.
Well, I think obviously I think COVID changed.
Yeah, it did 100%. Yeah,
I think COVID really showed everybody, hey, we can do more online
stuff. Yeah, I think that's what's kind of forced like the work job whatever learning, where kids are now like not going to school, but they're like maybe they'll do online school and then do work, and that counts as like credit for high school. So like I don't know, it's almost like, I mean, it's a stretch to say, but like, will high school even be a thing in the near future? I think you don't even need to go a ton that much anymore.
So this is where I'm very old school. I think the whole thing of high school and being a student, you gotta learn how to deal with people that you dislike, that you like, that think differently than you. And if we take that away from just, well, it's on a computer, or hey, you don't have to interact.
We just keep moving the goalpost back and back to now no human interaction will be a thing.
And you see that in the work. Hey, I work from home. All I see people is either through email, maybe a Zoom, some Zoom call. But like, this is where I sound so old, because I'm like, I only had one internship that was like that. And the lady that I was under, she always went to the office. So I went to the office. That was awesome. If I had a question, I just stood up, went to her office. Where I'm like, if you were like working from home, I'm like, you'd have to call them or wait for a response. If I stand up and go talk to them, you kind of gotta like, and then like me and my supervisor, not sometimes, but like I would ask her, like, hey, like tell me more about you start having more personal, like you get to know them. Where I think through a email, they just answer.
Like the conversation doesn't stop at your email. You can like rebuttal or ask a further question and be in real time response.
Like if if I go to you, like if we're in an office and say, hey, like, okay, can you help me with this? Oh man, like as you're like thinking or as you're like helping me, like, oh, like how was your weekend? Where if I just type that in an email, hey, I need help with this, you're just going to respond
with the help.
And I think that's where the human interaction has changed so much. And COVID played a big part of that, but that's where our human skill, like our human interaction skills, are used.
And that's why I think, like like we were saying out earlier, where back in my day, like I mentioned when we were building the house, like you're in the dirt, you're playing, but you're also like creative. You weren't. Well, now what I do for fun, I just scroll Instagram or TikTok. It's like that's so lame, whatever. But like, now I remember like being in college and I had a little mixture of both of in-person classes and online. And although like the online classes were, easier or like less coursework or whatever, the better ones were the in-person where your professor knew your name. Like I remember thinking like I can't name, other than the ones I've had also in person, the professors I had online, or like no, obviously no human interaction, or like they would force us to do. I remember the worst would be an assignment as a group on an online class. Trying to put that together was like, I know none of these people. We're handed their emails, and then you figure it out from there. You have to figure out your schedule. Like an online class, you have it to not have a schedule. It's like, well, I can't do homework till maybe midnight, whatever. So you get to that class. So then you have to put it together, like, hey, let's meet at 7, and you're like, I didn't do this class to do this, whatever. So, yeah, you don't know anybody.
Well, I think it was my sophomore year of college, so this was coming out of COVID, and so there were still restrictions. So like that year was the easiest year of college, because I only had to go to on campus one day a week, and so the rest was online. Our one professor goes, normally this project is your groups in person, but she goes, no, like it was all virtual, like your project. So I'm like, she's like, here's your partners. I'm like, I've never met that person,
and
I'm like, and I'm not seeing you face to face. Be like, hi, I'm Caleb. You're my partner, or this is our group. So literally, we had to like, at least at ODU, you basically typed in anybody's last name, their email kind of popped up.
Yeah, that is kind of nice. You get to know.
And so that's what I did. I'm like, I was getting really nervous. I'm like, how am I supposed to do a group project with people you don't interact with and you've never met? So literally, I just emailed and I said, hi, I'm in your group. And
they were awkward introductions. So I remember being like, hey, my name's Cauy Sprankle, I'm in your group. Like, let's put this together, whatever. I didn't care about knowing them or whatever. You're just like, hey, I'm just going to be honest. I'm here to do this assignment and get out.
Well, and for me, it was like, some of your kids were great. Like, my group had a female athlete. She was great. We had a dude on the football team. He didn't do anything. So like that was like, I think one of my projects during that year, I literally emailed my professor and said, the dude has not never responded.
There were times where I'm just like, we've done, 2 people have done 90%, the other one's done 10, the other one's done 0. It's like, and they would be like, the professor would be like, well, we'll have like a grading system. Let us know if there was any trouble. And I would never bash it. And I'd be like, everybody was great. Even though it's like, that one person was the worst.
And so, I won't say like, I feel like I was a little bit of a,
snitch.
A little bit of a snitch. But I'm like, I also was like, that kind of torqued me off. I'm like, if this is my partner, I never got a hold of it. Like, he wouldn't respond. And so my professor's like, okay.
And the bad thing is, it's your grade. So you're like, now I gotta do 2 people's work, bro. So, yeah, that's crazy. But we might have to come back to this because we could go for
a long time.
Days. Yeah, we're already an hour into the pod. So we got Caleb's top 5 is back for episode 2. So Caleb, what's your top 5 today, buddy?
So today we're gonna do my top 5 Marvel movies.
Oh my!
Mixing it up.
Has Marvel ruined cinema?
I don't think so. Some people, that topic, I think, when up until my senior year, so when you get through Endgame, I think Marvel movies were like peak. I think you were really looking forward to them. Now, because of like the whole adding shows, there's so much content, which is good. But also, if everything is connecting, you're like, man, I don't got time to watch. 40.
I feel like the Endgame, they try and like, obviously that was a great movie, very long, but a great movie. But then they just try and go bigger and bigger and bigger. And
it's hard.
And you're like, man, it's just a movie, whatever. I think that's similar to Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Like, those movies are great, and at the same time, you're like, now it's just unrealistic, and you lose it a little bit. Like, I think 5 to 7 is like, these are great movies. They're big enough action movies that's like solid movies.
Right.
But then it's like, they strapped a rocket to a car, and took it to space. I'm like,
that was like, what, 9? That was 9 or 10.
I think so, and you're just like, other things like that. And it's just like, all right, let's calm it down. We're just normal people. So I just didn't know if you thought that about Marvel, where it's like there's 70 celebrities in each movie, and like they do have the budget probably. I mean, they're big movies. They'll get people in the movie theaters or stuff like that. But I didn't know if you thought like,
I don't know if I would say it's ruined it, but I just think
they do go over the top a little bit.
Sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so starting off the list, we'll go, 5. So 5, I actually had a tie because I think these are both very good, but for different reasons.
You might be mad at me, but I don't know if I've seen, like, other than, like, Endgame, I don't know if I've seen
Shame on you.
I'm sorry.
So, number 5, I said Deadpool and Wolverine because I think that movie, I saw it 3 times in the theater because I saw it with different people.
Deadpool and Wolverine, or like it's
that's the title.
It's okay, so they combined.
So that's when Deadpool officially became a part of Marvel. Yeah. So his first 2 movies are technically part of Fox.
Yeah.
And so they put them together.
I watched Deadpool 1. I was like, what?
Yeah,
What
so
am I watching?
I think it's a little inappropriate, obviously but I think it's really funny. I think Ryan Reynolds is hysterical.
Yeah.
I think adding Hugh Jackman back because like he's the longest running superhero in the movie
Is
world.
it really?
Because he's been Wolverine since like 2000.
Dang, okay.
And so I think that was really cool, really funny movie. A little inappropriate, maybe a lot of inappropriate, but I think it was
It is.
how they introduced Deadpool to
Yeah.
the actual Marvel world. I thought was really neat.
All right, solid.
Okay,
Give them
so
a
the movie that's tied for that, and for completely different reasons. I think they came out roughly the same year, or like there was Thunderbolts, and that movie was the most like deep Marvel movie. Like it went really got you thinking about
Sophisticated.
like very like it talked more about like feelings, which
Okay.
is really interesting for a superhero movie.
Right.
And I think just at the time, we'll find out here, I think this year, because the next Avengers movie comes out at the end of this year.
Yeah.
But spoilers, if you didn't know this, Thunderbolts
I don't.
became, at the end of the movie, the new Avengers. That was the title.
Okay.
And so, obviously, that could play a big part into what's coming here.
I feel like the Avengers movie, they do kind of like get you to feel bad for maybe the villain or like stuff like that sometimes. So is that kind of like this one?
Well, this one, I think they're just building up a team.
Okay.
Like the thing that was so different between like the first, up until Endgame, every movie you felt was connected. Like, hey,
Yeah.
this person had a cameo. Where really since Endgame, it's like you've had so many individual projects that you're like,
That might be why I don't know what's going on.
Right.
It's because I'll just skip around and it's like, I'm so lost. And my brothers are like, dude, you gotta watch the other ones. I'm like, I probably won't. But yeah, it makes sense.
yep. So number 4, I went with Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Nice. That's a good movie. I like that movie.
Yeah, I think bringing back
Spider-Man's, all of them have been great.
very good.
like
I
it.
don't think there's not been a bad Spider-Man movie, no matter if it was Toby or Andrew Garfield or now Tom Holland.
Yeah.
I don't think there's.
Do you have a favorite one of them?
I don't. I think they're all. I think they're all really good in their own way.
Right, yeah.
But that movie, bringing them together.
That is very cool.
At number 3, I went with Avengers: Endgame.
Yeah.
That one was.
So that went to number 3. That's
Yeah.
early.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 3. It was that movie, which tells you how important how awesome I think the number 1 and number 2 is. But number 3, that movie had so much just your childhood.
Yeah.
Like I didn't start watching Marvel movies until the first Avengers, and so I saw an ad in a magazine. And I'm like, this movie looks so cool. And my sister goes, "Oh, I've been meaning to get into that," and we didn't realize there was already like 5 movies. Like you had Captain America and Thor, like all the first ones.
Right.
So we went out to Target, bought them all, and so like since 2012, fully invested. So for 7 years, and then just to watch that movie, and you're like,
They all come together and
like
thingos.
just I don't even know if I would say like the movie itself was great, but I just think of just all the emotions. Like it's like you've watched
They
this.
come together really good.
Yeah, like you've watched this project as a whole just come together. I also went with one of my closest old high school friends, and we went to a few Marvel movies when we were in high school, and
That's cool.
just
like a little throwback kind of deal.
oh,
Yeah.
it's just a good memory.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, here's what's crazy too. I'll tell you this. It also was the same weekend of my senior prom. So me and my buddy, we went to go see that movie at 11 o'clock on Thursday night. That movie's almost 3 hours.
Really.
He dropped.
I was there. I remember there'd be like on Instagram, like when this scene comes up, go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I
Like,
remember.
there's a bunch of like when this scene. If you had to go to the bathroom, if you had to go get something to eat, that's crazy. I remember that would be like, this thing must be long.
Yeah.
That they have that.
And so he dropped me back at home. I mean, I don't think I went to bed till like 3 o'clock.
Yeah, probably.
And here's what's crazy. Our senior prom was the next day, so you had to go to school. And so
Wow.
now, luckily, we got out like at 10 o'clock.
Right.
And so like I remember going to first period. Me and him were in the same class, and I'm like, I woke up
Dazed,
I
yeah.
woke up at 6. I got like 3 hours of sleep, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm done. This is a long,
Right.
whatever. But just that weekend as a whole was obviously really fun. So like that was just another bonus.
That helps move it to number 3. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So number 2, I think this is by far just based on the movie itself is Captain America: Winter Soldier. I think the spy aspect of the movie, kind of him going on the run, like that one is less about the feel. It's just, I think it's just a great movie. I think that is just, I think that was such a good movie. I think it came out in like.
Is that the guy with like maybe like his arms?
Yeah.
Like robotic or something.
Yeah,
like that?
Bucky, his best friend he became the Winter Soldier.
That is kind of a wild, like, it does like, bro, we used to be friends, and that doesn't it show like old scenes of them hanging out? So yeah, all right, that's a good one. Yeah.
I also think he goes on the run with Scarlett Johansson's character, so like that's lucky guy.
Yeah.
But I just think that movie as a whole is it's a great movie.
Right. Yeah.
And I think number 1 is Avengers.
Drum roll. Yeah.
Is Avengers: Infinity War.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's crazy to think that's number 1, but I think same thing like Avengers: Endgame. That movie came out the weekend of my junior prom.
Right.
I did not go to junior prom.
Yeah.
And so, funny story.
Just did the Avengers: Infinity War movie.
I left. So when everybody left at 10 o'clock, like the people that had tickets, I'm like, that's almost all my classmates. Like every class I have are with juniors and seniors.
Right.
I'm like, so I was an office helper. So my office helper was right after everybody left. It was at 4 o'clock. Or fourth period. So I asked the secretary, because she was like, we were really close. She was like a second mom. I said, what's the purpose of me still being here? Like every class is going to be like one student. She goes, if I was you, I would just leave. So I did. I called.
Signed yourself out.
Because I was 18 at the time too. So I'm like, she goes, can I just see a text from your mom? I said, Mom, tell me I'm allowed to leave. She did. I signed myself out.
Nice.
And as soon as I left, I went to the movie theater and saw that movie.
That's pretty good idea.
That is what I did. At 11 o'clock, I should be in school.
Yeah.
Nope. I was in a theater.
I
was pretty much by myself watching Infinity War. And I think just the twist at the end of them losing, you're like, that's the only superhero movie I can think of where like, oh, the good guys lost.
Right, yeah.
I think that build up and that emotion is, in Endgame you had the emotion of they all came back.
Right.
Infinity War was, look at what we...
Is that before Endgame?
What?
The Infinity War?
Yeah, those were the back-to-back movies.
Okay, I was going to say, that sounds like,
Yeah. And so I just think that build up is just, like I left that movie theater going...
Yeah, it's cliffhanger a little bit.
Oh, it's a huge cliffhanger. Yeah. You're like, they can't be dead. They can't be dead.
Yeah.
And so I just... That's my list, maybe. I think a lot of people, might arrange that, but...
Let us know your guys' top 5 Avengers list, if you like the Avengers movies, you don't. Or you can just go to your top 5 movies in general. I think it'd be cool to do a episode on movies, because I think that's a big thing. Yeah. I've been getting into movies more. I don't know. Sometimes I watch a movie and I think I just wasted.
Hey, don't give it away. That might be a future top 5 list here or something.
That could be, yeah. I think so. But yeah, I watch a movie and I'm like, I think I just wasted my life. 2 hours of my life is gone.
Sometimes that's why I struggle to watch movies nowadays. I'm like, do I really want to sit here for 2 hours?
Yeah.
And so
I like comedies, and so I've been trying to branch out, and I'm just like, I know why I watch comedies, because it's just like, at least you're probably gonna laugh. If not, it's a cringe movie or whatever. But then you watch other movies, you're like, yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna get back to Rush Hour 2. But yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the show, do all those things. This is episode 2, so we're cruising. We're gonna get on a roll here and bring some good content for you guys. So thank you for supporting. Keep supporting. Keep repping the show. We'll see you guys next week.